Well, I'm so I hear you're a constitutional kook from California, still out here in mid-America helping out my friends in Iowa here. And I've just come across some astounding things over the course of the last 5 months with continued ongoing study. And that's what I do for the past 5 decades and in my 41st year. And when you do that, things just pop up and you say, why didn't that occur to me before? And here's a big one, what I call a get out of jail free card. And this remedy, uh, may be just that, because what we're going to do is issue our own citizens' arrests. And we can do that. And we can do it with attitude and with authority and charge a lot of these creeps in official positions in the de facto National Socialist government, aka elective despotism, with acts of treason to the Constitution. And that's the U.S. Supreme Court saying it, not me. A big case there is Cohens v. Virginia 6 Wheaton 264, 1818. And people say, oh, that's old law. They don't use that anymore. The hell they don't. They cited it several times recently on the court with justices who now are going to have our backs on a lot of the issues that we are raising here. They understand about rights secured by the Constitution, acting like a judicial court for the first time in 90 years. Wow, that's where we are. And we get there, and what they said in Cohens was, in effect, that the court must exercise jurisdiction if it hasn't, but it can't exercise jurisdiction if it doesn't. The one or the other is treason to the Constitution. And think about that. It makes sense. If these bastards are in office and they're bound by this Constitution and laws enacted in pursuance thereof, then they have to do that duty first and foremost. And this is true even if you come into a court like the United States District Court that looks like an Article 3 court, but it isn't. But you show up, and that makes it one. And we'll talk more about, you're going to love this, because when we show up, that becomes our court. That's that U.S. Supreme Court saying it again. Original intent of the framers. So we get in there, those judicial courts have to be there, and yet we're never in one at any time. Equally true if you're in a quote unquote state court, since as you will learn, there are no sovereign independent states remaining which were admitted into this union. We're not sure what they are, but we know what they're not. And that's especially true in California. You'll learn by getting my information and document packets that I have my own personal documents from the California Supreme Court and the Assembly telling me in no uncertain terms they can deny my non-statutory federal writ of habeas corpus. And then the state Supreme Court, this was done by a deputy jerk clerk of court. Have they never heard of separation of powers, delegation of authority? Wow. But at one and the same time, we have the Office of the Secretary of State in Sacramento saying in response to a FOIA request that the Constitution of 1849 has not been repealed. And that's true in all the other 31 other states that were admitted into this union. They're going to love to learn more about that and learn why. But that's how we get the bastards, because we do have rights and we can go into their courts and invoke them. And this brings us back to our citizens arrest forms, and you'll get some of those with acquisition of my materials. I've got several different ones because you have black robe bastards out there, aka judges. You have prosecutors, aka local dumbasses, defense counsel, aka public pretender, and most importantly, the clerk of court. So we start filling these out, and boy, there's a lot of detail in there, and you get a lot of my documents, by the way, that support your claims for all of these. And I'll be adding to it, by the way, citizen's arrest warrant for the U.S. attorney, and that's particularly important because that U.S. attorney, when we can make the claims we can with treason to the Constitution, has not only the discretionless ministerial duty, to order the U.S. Marshals to arrest the official perps that have done all this crap. You know, he has the sworn duty to be bound by this Constitution and laws and acted in pursuance thereof. And that's where the dam may burst, because what I'm setting it up to do is, if the U.S. Attorney doesn't do it, we're going to be going to Merrick Garland. Thank God that bastard didn't get appointed to the Supreme Court, and there was a chance he would have been, but fortunately we got around that. But he's the U.S. Attorney General, and he has this sworn duty just like the U.S. Attorney. If he doesn't do it, now we go directly to the 9-0 Bart and ask them to issue an order to Merrick Garland to order the U.S. Attorney to arrest anybody that we name in our arrest warrants. How many of these bastards do you think is going to take to be in jail before they get the idea? Now, to be sure, yes, there is some risk here, at least in theory, because if we do that and we have a citizen's arrest sworn under penalty of perjury, we could be subject to being charged with false arrest and imprisonment. But trust me, that's not going to happen. Because if it does, I mean, the problem that they have is we can prove everything we're saying. They have no case to make against it. We've got it all in black and white. That's what's exciting. And with my materials, you get that. So we don't even have to worry about that. And we have the right to do this, to invoke our rights secured by all 6 articles of the Constitution, particularly the right to a judicial court from day one, and trial by jury according to the course of the common law, with that jury having the right to rule on the facts and the law. The last thing they want you to know, and a big reason why this system treats you as incompetent. If they recognize, as the framers did, that the sovereign body politic is competent, and this is Bouvier's Law Dictionary, 1857, definition of citizen, where it says one who has the power to vote for representatives and all offices of government, and who is qualified to accept all offices in the gift of the people. That's competence. That's self-esteem. They don't want you to have that. If you learn that, understand it, and invoke it, you beat the bastards across the board. There's nothing they can do when you know the truth. Took me a long while to do it too, but I can get you there a bit quicker. Send me an email, uwinnincourt@gmail.com, and we can go from there. You're going to love absolutely all of what's going on here. That said, remember to subscribe, like the videos, tell your friends, get the word out. Thank you.